This is Ganesh. Hope you're doing wonderful. Happy to learn together. In this video, I'm going to give a small introduction about UI5 or UI5 development. So here, the name I have given is ABAP to UI5. I'm trying to explain how an ABAPer is trying to convert himself as an UI5 developer. So please don't try or please don't expect any proper syllabus for UI5 in this playlist. But I'm trying my best to give most of the concept what all is available in UI5, and you know about learning, so it's never ending process. So whenever there is a new thing comes, I definitely add it in this playlist. Okay, and the people who are good in UI5, they're taking very good classes or sessions. So please apologize if you by mistake if you see this video, because I'm not going to follow any proper syllabus or terms over here. So this is just an ABAPer is converting himself to an UFA developer. That's all. Okay, let's get into the slides. As an ABAPer, we know our screens. So all our screens are inside the GUI. It could be a report, or it could be a model pool output, or it could be ALV, whatever it is, everything is in a GUI level. So UX or UX is nothing but user experience. So UX or UI5 is nothing but that is also is going to be a screen, but it's very simpler one compared to what normally we develop. It's very simpler. It can be accessed in many devices. So means in simple way, it's outside of your SAP GUI. They don't want to enter into SAP GUI and see the report. Instead, they can see everything in their small device, compatible device. Okay. So if the screen level or the device is going to be changed, depends on that the screen level or screen weightage is also is getting changed. Okay. So our main agenda of this entire playlist is how we are converting our development into this level. Okay. So it can have a report, it can have response and request, like they want to create any document sales order through an UI5 development, through an UI5 screen. So we have to develop everything whatever we did in SAP. Most of these things we are going to do in UI5 as well. So we are going to learn in this way only. So how the report can be done, how the request and response to create, how to create a document using a UI. So what are things required in the backend side? So those ways we are going to learn in this playlist, ABAP to UI5. Okay, from the developer perspective. So okay, this is ABAP and this is UI5. So a few things before get into this playlist as how to change the ABAP perspective of UFA development for a UFA development. So normally if it is an ABAPer, always we go to the GUI, always we live with the transactions only. So how we have to focus, or how we got to start our UFA development, and how to start a UFA learning process. So from where we have to start, because we are hearing many terminologies: Fiori like app, UFA development, cloud, on premises. We have a lot. So we are going to start very small level of understanding how the UI works, and slowly we are going to enhance ourselves. It's like the example, I'm going to learn SAP script first, then I'm going to make sure I'm a little comfortable. I'll go smart forms, and then I'll go for Adobe. So the idea is same. I'm going to learn Adobe, but I'm going to start from SAP script. The same thing we are going to follow here as well. And how to understand the structure of the UFA development area. Again, the comparison between ABAP and UFA. So ABAP, we have everything as a program, or it can be any object like function modules, subroutines, include program, classes, and we have a little place to write a program in smart forms. So everything in a transaction level. The same way, we're going to understand how the UI5 development area looks like, and what are the different they are called as files. Here we have different transactions. They're calling us different files, different extension of files there. So we're going to understand that also. And the few terminologies like Fiori application, on cloud or on premises or cloud, UI5 framework, Fiori template, Fiori elements. It's a lot. Okay, but it's very simple to understand. Okay, but make sure all the terminologies, at least you have one line of definition, what is this, then it's very easy to adapt whenever you go and learn something new in the UI5. And yeah, so we'll go a little deeper about each one. How to change the ABAP view for a UI development. So normally in ABAP, if you want to write a code, for what we are writing a code to design a screen, and you have to do a screen validations, and the database code is nothing but take the data from the database table and then format the data for business need, loop, read, field symbols, whatever it is. We need to manipulate the data based on the business requirement, and finally results. Results may be a report or a screen, whatever it is. Okay, so this is the main agenda of an ABAPer, right? Why you want to write a code for this only? So for business requirement, I want to develop something inside a GUI, and for that I am doing everything in my editor. Okay. And for what UI development? So for UI development, why we need write a code? So UI development is only or mainly for screen designing, only for display purpose. We got to write the code. So you don't worry about how the data look like and what is a table and which table they are getting it. What are the inner joins, outer joins? What is the data manipulation is happening in the backend? You don't worry about anything. Okay. So in a simple way, concentrate on screen designing. Okay, so whatever data coming from a database or backend system, just display it, depends on the business requirement. But still we have to do some validations based on the backend data as well. But most of the time we are going to concentrate on screen designing, how we are going to project the data based on the business requirement, how many screens we are going to develop. So that is a way we have to change our development perspective from ABAP to UI. So we are going to concentrate on screen designing process. Okay, and this is case sensitive compared to ABAP. Once you start working with XML or Java, it's going to be a case sensitive. First letter should be caps, or the second letter, second word should be caps. But in ABAP, we don't worry about anything because it's not a case sensitive, and ABAP is a fourth generation language, it's a business language, mostly in the form of pure or simple English. So but here it's going to be a high level language. So initially you might need some understanding about how you're going to proceed further and everything. So once you get into with some examples, it's quite easy because you have a programming background for some years. So you're going to apply the same thing, but the way you're going to apply is quite different. Okay, so it's very simple to learn. And executable program. So another thing is, so what are the ways or what are the objects we have to write a code? So we have a lot, only few I have listed here. Executable program, you have function modules, subroutines, include program, class and methods, even a script you can write a program inside a smart form, inside Adobe. There are a lot of places you can write a code and you can call it. It depends. If you write in a function model, yes, you're able to call this function model in some other places, right? So it's nothing but different objects. You can call it, you can design it, whether you want to reuse or you want to call the particular program or a particular object inside your main program. So how it's look like in UI? UI is also have the similarity, like different places you can write a code, but they call it as extension, different extensions of files. So XML file, CSS file, JS file, JSON file, and HTML file, and depends on the need, you can just call it whenever is required. Okay, so just like kind of similarity. I want to make sure this platform is it's little easier for an ABAPer. Okay, then the next is how to start a UI5 learning process. So we need a tool. So because we decided we are going to come out of GUI for the UI5 development, so we need something to start developing the UI5 code. So for that we have some tools. The tools are in on-premises and cloud, and there's nothing but WebID is a tool where you can start developing your UI5 programs, and WebID is available in both places, on-premises and cloud, and the BAS is nothing but the advanced level of the tool that is available only in cloud. So our initial developments are going to be WebID on-premises only. So once you're comfortable, we'll slow move to cloud in WebID as well as in BAS also. But WebID is already the support is already stopped, but it's easy to understand. That's why we're going to start with WebID. Okay. And then the structure of the UI5 development area. So it's a MEC, it's a model view controller. It's very basic design when it's about MEC. In Brand Pro also we can have this one. So we have a model, you have a view and controller. So view is for a display purpose. Controller is going to be control your view. Model is going to decide from where you need to get the data. Backend data you're going to decide in the model level. So UI5 is mostly with MEC only. And then different files you have .js, .xml, JSON, HTML. As I mentioned in the previous one, so we have different extension of files. It's available. And libraries plays a major role, but in SAP we don't directly use libraries. We used standard objects like standard BAPs, standard function modules, standard class and methods we use, right? It's nothing but the product is already developed something, we can make use of it. Same thing here you have to use libraries. So we have different libraries for different syntax, we have to use it. So this libraries plays a major role for UFI development. And this is the, I can say it's a base or bible for UFI development. So SAP UFI native or on demand.com, you can find everything over here, like even the code, how it works, how it look like screens, what are the libraries they used, what are the attributes of the library. So everything is available over here. So just go through this and keep this, it's always available for your development. And then try to understand few terminologies, or simply say Fiori app, SAP Fiori application. I can say SAP Fiori app. What is that? Simple terminology, SAP standards. So what is ME21 and what is ME23? And these are SAP standard transaction is developed by the SAP, developed by the product company, and they just given this, or they just added for the their own customers, right? Same thing Fiori application. SAP tries to provide its own application in Fiori level for a better user experience. Okay, so you have a lot of every transaction. Just an easy reference. Every transaction, SAP try to provide a Fiori screen. So Fiori application. Okay, so Fiori screen is nothing but a UI screen. So for that, SAP tries and they provide different ways of Fiori application for their customers. And this is available in this particular link, so where I can find a SAP standard Fiori application. So suppose a customer wants, okay, I want to just migrate my one of the transactions, standard transaction into Fiori level. I don't want to in GUI, I want the same thing in my UI as well. Then they may just go and find the libraries like Fiori, SAP Fiori application libraries, where for this particular business scenario, any standard Fiori application is already built. If yes, just make use of it. Okay, so for that you have to go and find what are the applications are currently available. Standard applications are available from the SAP side. You have to go to this particular link and find it. Okay, then it's same like standard. If it is not, then you have to do an enhancement. Yes, you can do. If it is not satisfied, you got to start from the scratch. Yes, that's also we can able to do it. So this development for do a SAP Fiori application, again, it's a screen, backend is full of programs, full of codes, right? So to develop the front-end development, they used SAP UI5 technology. UI5 is a technology or methodology, I can say, not methodology, it's a technology. It helps to develop some screens, okay? It helps to develop, simple. So for a front-end development, they used SAP UI5 technology, and back-end development they use SAP OData service. It's come with CDS and everything, but simple way I'm saying how the data is getting to the front-end using SAP OData services. Okay. This is about Fiori application, SAP Fiori app. Another terminology you might heard about is Fiori-like application. What is Fiori-like application? SAP Fiori application, SAP Fiori-like application is nothing but we try to, as a developer, try to develop a custom Fiori application for the same purpose, for the same better user experience. We have to develop a custom Fiori application. But here we can able to use a Fiori template or Fiori elements, meaning you don't want to start everything from scratch. So SAP provides some elements and templates. Make use of a template and try to build your own custom Fiori application. This custom Fiori application also we're going to use the same technology called SAP UI5, and the backend is also a SAP OData service. In a simple way, we can have OData plus CDS. It's going forward, we can see that. But to get the backend data, we're going to use SAP OData service for SAP UI5 in the front end. And we have one more terminology called UI5 application. So considering if you're going to start any custom application from the scratch, like without using Fiori template, so existing template which you're going to create your own from the scratch, we consider that as a UI5 application. But UI5 is a technology, but there is a terminology called UI5 application, so you should know what is that as well. Okay, so that's it. And so here template is nothing but kind of ALV. I consider like ALV is going to be a template which is already available, and we just fill the data, it automatically display in the table format. Same thing for your template also. So we have a template, list template, we have work list template, we have a master template. So different templates, it depends on the version, it's keep on increasing. So we can make use of that, those template, at least it decrease your the code level if you use a Fiori template, or if you want to develop everything from a scratch, it may take some time. But as a beginner, I always prefer to you just go with UI5 from the scratch, especially the design level. So it helps a lot. Normally, if you see my BDCs also, once you start writing a BDC program manually, then understanding the BDC program is very simple. So instead of always go with the wizard and everything, so mostly try to go with manual things, and it's very easy to understand, very easy to debug also if any existing programs comes. Okay, so that is the way which I'm going to list in my playlist also. And the another one is a very simple reference. It's the following of the previous slide. So from the ABAP perspective, we have SAP standard objects. So here I used a program, and we have a custom program also. We have standard programs, screens and everything. Here also we are able to create custom programs, screens, function models, whatever is required. But both are using a technology called ABAP for a programming purpose, right? So same thing we are going to have here, SAP Fiori application, SAP Fiori like application. So SAP Fiori application is a standard one, and Fiori like application is going to be the custom, but both are using a technology called SAP UI5. So SAP UI5 programming they used to develop the standard as well as the custom Fiori like applications. Okay. So the next one is, okay, this is very generic slide. How we are getting the data from the database backend system. Mostly we go with the OData service. It's a two-way communication. You can request and you can get a response also. And here mostly I'm going to concentrate on UI5, not much with OData service, because we have a different playlist for the OData service. So just go through over there. So here we're going to concentrate mostly on UI5 perspective. So let me go through that's two links. One is to find SAP standard Fiori applications, and another one is for the code where you can just see the ondemand.com. So where you can see a lot of codes over there. Okay, so I'll just go through that too, and we can finish this first slide. So the first video. This is the URL which you have to use to find any SAP standard application, Fiori application based on your business requirement. And these are the categories you have: all apps for HANA, all apps for S4 HANA, SAP Fiori apps for HANA. So Lighthouse, business suite, and it's anything available via Fiori Cloud. So a lot of categories you have. Let me go with all apps, and here you can say anything for sales. So you have like 361 apps for it's search based on the word which we are doing. So sales order, so import sales order, manage customer returns, outbound deliveries, and okay, track sales order. Just click this, and you are able to see it's applicable for HANA, and the versions are as well. And this is the description, and it's used SAP Fiori elements. So here, and what is the database? It's a HANA DB exclusive, and it's used in desktop and tablet as well. Okay. And product features is nothing but a documentation of this particular Fiori application. You can see over there what is exactly is there. You have to find, you or the business analyst has to make sure, yes, this is work for your requirement. And it's look like there's some screenshots how it's look like and everything. Then you can go ahead to the next tab. Here is implementation information for the technical need, so how to install, and some application needs to implement SAP nodes as well for front end and back end server. Make sure this is available for your version. If not, you have to implement it. And the installation, they mentioned these are the components to be added. Sometimes it may be added in your system, otherwise you have to make sure these are added in your system for the front end as well as the back end. So these probably will take care by the basis of security, but you want to make sure, suppose you are finding an application for a business need, make sure these are available in your system as well. Okay. And components, you can able to see these are components, right? So you know where to see the components. So go to the component and make sure this component is available in your system or not. Okay, component versions. Like S4 core, you're able to see system status. Same way you have to go and find whether this is available over there or not. Okay. Let me get in the one. I will show that system also. Maybe the next one, whenever we get into system, I will show you where we have to see the component versions as well. Okay. And backend components and configurations. So these are some configuration they mentioned for the UI level. So these are the technical name to be added in your site, and this is for the OData servers. So this is the OData server. So you can go to SEGW and put the OData service name, whether it's available or not. If not, you have to add it. This is excuse me. This is available from S4 core and 107 version. Suppose if it is 101, 102, probably it is not available. So then you have to check with your basis and security how we have to add it to this OData service, make sure the application works well. So this is a way you have to load, or I can say added or implement any Fiori application to your business. Okay. And technical configurations and everything over here. And then what else? Related apps. There's nothing big over in related apps. What are the related apps related to this options or tricks? This is the one which we selected, right? So these are the other options, which other applications which is already available. So you can just make use of it if it is required. Okay. So other apps, it's like once you search, it will give all the relevant information. So relevant information is also available. If you want, just go through with this. So this is a way you have to try to find any Fiori application is available for your business need or not. Okay, and this is free. It's like you don't need any user ID to at least have a look on this. Just go through this a link and just play around. At least make sure once you get into the Fiori learning process, make sure how we can track and how the technical things are available. What is the component, whether it's available or not, everything. Okay. And the another one is, so here this is SAP UI5.net or ondemand.com, where you are able to see all the code level, I can say. So like documentation, API reference, samples, demo apps and everything. Mostly we go with like API reference, and you can see the layout you want to see. These are the libraries which will start with the sap.ui.layout. Going forward, you will very well versed on this one, so don't worry about it. So these are some libraries which we are going to use. If you want to use some of the properties or a class from the library, definitely you should know what library has which class it is. Okay, so we have a terminologies like libraries, class, methods, even handle everything over here. So slowly we'll look into that. And like suppose what is the layout. So from layout, what do you want? I want to learn about form layout, and it shows very clearly what is that overview. So mostly we go with properties over here, like what are the properties over there and what are the aggregations of the particular form. So technically we call it as it's a class. It's a class. Okay, so inside the class you have the properties and what is the property on it, what is the type and description of the property, everything you are able to see over here. So very specific if you want to go. So go to samples. Suppose I want to see like input. So here you can say label. So I want to know how I have to place a label. What is the code for keeping a label in my development? So it shows API reference. This is the library for the label, and there are 3 samples they given: label with inputs, label properties, full screen one group, 3 different events they mentioned. So you have to select it first. Once you select it, you will come to know the place, how it's look like. First thing, samples, label with inputs, label properties, full screen one group. Okay, so just select each one, how it look like first. So this is a normal label, but they're saying it's required one, and this is little bold, and this is normal. There is no design is added over there. Okay, and it's associated with one of the other object. I can say it's an input field, and this is one. And go back. If I select the next one, label properties. Excuse me. So these are the kind of label properties you can able to see. So of enable encryption, container width. Okay, so here also you are able to place the labels. Okay, these are label properties. And another one is full screen one group. So it's keep on they add it's address, so it's a full screen and it belongs to one group. These are also where you're able to have the labels. Okay, so every versions they will keep on adding to that library. If they add anything to this library, it will add it over here also. Okay, so if you take this as an example, and the main thing for a beginner is what is the code for this, right? So you can use this option. So the source code for this sample, just click it. So here the understanding is, as I mentioned, the structure of UI5 development is we have a many files is available for our development .js, .css, .xml, .json. Okay, so the first understanding is this is a code which designs the previous whatever we have seen, that is going to a file called .xml. And there is another supporting code which is listed here. This is going to add it in .json file. That is a basic understanding. So what kind of file we have and what type of code we have to add it in each files. Okay, sometimes we are not calling that file, but still it's going to be what you can say, it's supported somewhere. So here they mentioned the view also, v.view.xml. So here there's a connection between these two files over here. Okay, and in XML if you see there is no JSONs added, it's fine, and it's very easy to understand. These are libraries. Okay, so we will see one by one once you start developing our own design, but this is just for your reference. These are libraries, and once you have a library, then only you are able to use it. So for example, sap.m is a library. Label and input as comes under sap.m. Technically we call label as a class, input as another class. Okay, and these are their class properties. Okay, so here you can see text A required and id. So they mention input id is input A, and this label is for this input A. These are very easy to correlate with our screen painter, right? If there is a label, it needs to be label for with some input fields. The same thing over there also, because here everything is a code, we have to write it. And this is another label, it's bold, label for, and everything. Okay, so and then .json file, so you have this option. Okay, so this is just an understanding of how they return the code, and it's a case sensitive. You can see the first letter is capital or here or here or here also. Okay, so everything we can see very detailed, and here you can see first word and then second word also it start with capital letters. Okay. Okay, so hope this might be useful for you, at least to before begin you can start working on it. And how this is my plan is going to be, let's start with the design. So maybe next time I'll show you how to uh, get the web ID on-premises version and keep your system ready and go with the design, because mostly we have to concentrate on design. And then because once you connect with OData, everything is coming from the OData, so that is very simple. So we'll go one by one. Hopefully this is like ABAP to UI5 transformation, so hope it go well. And if you have any doubt on this, please let me know, and thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video. Bye.